From the busy workbench and the warped brain of Gary Anderson comes
This is where I make all my projects. This is my workbench, and I've got a drill press with a light and tools, more tools, pictures, Gary Hindle, saws, little hand drill, voltage pullers for wheels. There's a hand riveter. SpongeBob helps me. Got some colors up there. There's a Chrysler clock. Maybe you can see the hands on it. And a whole bunch of stuff. Mostly stuff. Those little cans are all full of parts. And there's a little vise. More tools. My soldering gun. And some more tools. Screwdrivers. And if I go across, I've got a really nice metal bender. And in the end of this bench there was a small metal bender. But this is a really nice one, which I've used very little. And scale, which a person should have. Another vise, a little arbor press. And something I've never used is a spot welder. Goes off of a 12-volt battery. And back there is an armature turning lathe, which of course I can't even get close to. So this is where I do my little projects. Today I'm going to show you some of the homemade tools I made for working with metal. The first one is 2 C-clamps, 2 flat pieces, and you put your metal in there and you can bend it any way you want. This is a small die, or with 2 pins, so you can bend small handrails, any small sort of wire. I made these, a nice little anvil, and this would come off. Another little anvil. You can put stuff on there and flatten it with a hammer. This is a screwdriver that I have turned the end down for taking out dents. Here's another one. Put your piece down that's got a kink or something in it, and you can usually roll out the kinks. This is a special tool that I made. Got all sorts of different ends on it and you clamp it down. You can use that to work with stuff. And I'll continue tomorrow. Okay, part 2 of my homemade tools. This is the one I use for making slots, if I'm putting together something with slots and tabs. And as you can see, you put your metal in there and you tap down with a hammer, and what you end up with is with this nice slot, and you can either move it up or down if you want it wider or not. Next one is my key maker. I used to make keys, homemade keys, and this is the directions. You start it there, and you use this to bend it. And that just fell out. There's step 1, step 2, step 3, and then I'm going to show you my riveter, which is 2 parts, and I should be able to do this. That goes over the rivet. You push down on the spring loaded, and then you hit it on top, and uses that to flange it. And lastly are my pliers. This one is used to make flats. This one makes a 90-degree bend. This one is round, and you can round out pieces. And the last one is an offset. You can make an offset for putting together 2 ridges on metal pieces. So there we are. You also need some good tools that you can buy at a hardware store or anything. You should have some nut drivers, 3 different sizes that are common to Mark's engines, other engines. A good side cutter is really nice. Don't skimp on that one. Flat nose pliers come in really handy. Pliers with the rounded ends are used for jewelry work. That comes in handy. A screwdriver with a clip on the end to hold a screw when you're starting it. Another good side cutter. One more side cutter. And some of those cheap Chinese clamps which work good. It's always nice to have a little magnet. And this is a sculpting tool, but it comes in handy. It's got a sculpting in there, and it's got a little knife in that end. Of course, your X-Acto blade, which I've broken that one, and a good Irwin quick grip. And a nice drill press comes in handy. And if you look up here, there's a little large O-ring, and if you spin this around and put up a wheel against it, it'll spin the wheel either on an engine or on a freight car or something. And it's good to have tin snips. And you want a left and a right, and then you want one for curved surfaces and one for flat surfaces. So you want 4 tin snips, a good soldering gun, a good pistol grip soldering gun, and then paste, and then good soldering rosin core solder, and a nice little vise like this. You can hold stuff, and it's got a flat area where you can pound it, and then a decent metal bender that comes in handy too. So these are the tools you should have.